What is the greatest fight you have ever seen in an anime, manga, anything? Go ahead, leave a comment. I'll tell you mine. Rengoku vs. Akaza from the Demon Slayer movie. That fight, the stakes were high, life and death battle. I mean, the emotions from the sideline characters that just weren't strong enough to fight a demon of that caliber yet. In Rengoku, my god, the animation of every swing of his blade looked amazing. Now, the manga I'm reviewing today, Record of Ragnarok, is a manga that lives and dies by its fights. If the fights are good, the manga is good. And if the fights are bad, it's going to be bad. I'm just another reader, and I can pleasantly say the fights are good. Now, this review is going to be a bit different than my other reviews. Usually I'll go through the first chapter, tell you what to expect, but with Record of Ragnarok, it's a little different because the story, everything is laid out very early on in the first chapter. Humanity has been deemed unfit to continue to exist. The gods are looking to destroy them. But wait, there's a little rule in the book that says if the gods decide to wipe out humanity, one-on-one combat between humanity's best fighters and 13 other gods must commence before that. A challenge is proposed by a Valkyrie. The pride of the gods cannot be underestimated because they accept this challenge, thinking there's no possible way a god could lose to a mere human. That's the setup. The first to 7, 13 fights. It's as simple as that. With a concept so simple for a manga, I will be instead reviewing a single fight from it. And that fight I am choosing is Jack the Ripper vs. Hercules. At the beginning, I said my favorite fight was Rengoku vs. Akaza. That was true until I read this manga. But before we begin with the review, just take a moment to like, subscribe, maybe even comment. Jack the Ripper vs. Hercules is what I consider to be a perfect fight. It is clear the author has planned out every moment from the beginning to the end and has probably gone through many rewrites, but he settled on something he liked, and you can really tell about the care he put into this fight. Something that is unique to this fight to any other fight in the manga is it takes place on a different battlefield. In the manga, every fight takes place on a flat stone battlefield, so no one fighter has the advantage. But Jack the Ripper has a special request that the fight take place in 19th century London. And Hercules, prideful as he is, accepts this request because he believes no matter the place, he will win. And this is where we see, right off the bat, the first decision, we can see the personality of the two fighters. Jack the Ripper is a bit more cunning. He's looking to play to certain advantages, knowing he can't defeat a god in a fair one-on-one fight. And Hercules, I mean, for someone whose very name can be turned into an adjective to describe someone of great strength, you can expect such pride from them. And that's something that's true for almost every fight in the manga. The human is going to be at a disadvantage because they're just humans trying to fight and kill a god. But it's not impossible. I won't say spoilers, but there are some fights where humans have miraculously pulled through. And it's because of a special ability the Valkyries have that they bond with a human and create a Valhund. I'm not pronouncing that right. It's probably a German word. I'm sorry. But it's a divine weapon, something capable of harming a god. Every fighter has one. It's something that makes each fight different than the last. But that's enough about the special powers. I want to talk about the fighters' personalities. Jack the Ripper. It's not an exaggeration to say he's the most infamous serial killer in human history. He is a villain. He's evil. There's no doubt about that. And that's in real history. In the context of this manga, the author doesn't really try to change much. He's not looking to redeem him. He's not trying to backpedal his bad actions as something actually good. No, he's just a bad person. There's no way around it. He is a serial killer, and every serial killer is a little twisted. Their personality, something's not right in the head because it takes a lot to take another human life for no reason. And the author really plays up how eccentric Jack the Ripper's personality is. And then on the other side of the field, we have Hercules, someone that represents good. If you aren't familiar with Hercules' origin story, I'll let the manga tell its version, but he's basically a hero that fights for justice. When offered godhood, he accepted on the fact that he would be a god that would fight for justice. So from a reader's perspective, from our perspective, we are looking at a villain and a hero fighting it out. But in the case of the reader who is a human, they're going to be rooting for the humans to win because from our point of view, that's our side. But Jack doesn't make it easy. I mean, he is a villain, but his personality, and it's so eccentric, it's so special that it's hard not to root for the underdog in this fight. Something interesting in this manga is the crowd that watches the fight is every human that has existed in history. And then on the other side, rooting for the gods is all the gods that have existed in history. So we see people that lived in 19th century London and they hate Jack the Ripper. Even modern humans find him deplorable because he's a villain. And it's interesting seeing humans rooting for the gods to win this fight, even if it means it's one step closer to humanity's extinction. And I find that just so amazing to see. I don't want to spoil anything about the fight. If there's one thing I could say is the fight starts on chapter 20. If you don't want to read the entire manga, if you don't want to read any of the other fights, you can go in and just read this one singular fight from this manga, and I think it will change your outlook on shonen fights for a while, because I've reread this fight multiple times and I get that same amount of excitement, that same thrill each time I read it. And because of that, I'm gonna rate this fight a perfect 10 out of 10. Is the manga a perfect 10 out of 10? No, it's gonna have its faults, as every manga does, but just the fact that the author has written a fight like this, the manga is still ongoing, the likelihood of him writing a fight half as good as this one is reason enough to read this manga. Now, that is all I have to say about the manga. I want to talk about the Netflix anime adaptation. The adaptation for this one is the reason I read the manga in the first place. Not because the adaptation was good, but because it was so bad. The pacing fell off, the animation, every fight didn't look right. It felt like moving slideshow images almost, like they would display a picture on screen and then kind of shake it. And I could tell there was a story that was trying to be told there that was good, but the execution was just way off. Now, I'm not gonna lie and say that the anime didn't make me excited during the fights, because it did, but it wasn't good. And because of that, I said, you know what? The source material for this has to be good. It has to be, because you can't create something so bad that has those few moments that are a shining gem. And that's why I decided to read this manga. Season 2 is about to come out, and all I can say is the Jack the Ripper versus Hercules fight is going to be the first fight of season 2. I really hope they do a better job. It would be a shame to see such a good fight be mishandled. Do I have much hope for it? No, but hey, I'm just another reader and I can just read it, and not have to watch everything. But that is it for today's video. Thank you for watching. Or that was when the original video ended. Also, welcome to a somewhat new setup I'm working on. Still trying it out. I remembered it as I was editing this video. But there's two things I forgot to mention. One, I just really couldn't fit in the video because it's like a funny random moment. Look at this picture. That's Jesus Christ in the audience watching the fights. I don't know why. I just find this hilarious. Like, I mean, it's every human that's ever existed in the audience, and the fact he's just there vibing, like, humanity's about to get wiped out. And I think Zeus is his dad in this one. I think the way there's no monotheistic religions in this anime manga world, because obviously you can't have multiple pantheons. If one's a monotheistic religion that only believes in one god, it's not one god, yada yada. That's the first thing I just completely kind of forgot to mention. Second thing, I love to read, and I'm kind of in between books right now. I say kind of because I'm kind of reading something. If you want to leave a suggestion, please comment something. Literally, I will read the most garbage stuff. I'll read anything. I have an Excel spreadsheet of books I've read that I want to do a review on. It's pretty beefy, honestly. And it's going to take me a while to get through all that. But if you have some suggestions, I would love to. But I think that's it. I want to make sure I remember everything. Oh, yeah. One more thing, I think. Let's see. Jesus. That was an important one. Leave a suggestion. Also, I'm going to give a slight hint to the next review. It is a popular book series that was a scholastic book series from the late 1990s to the early 2000s. I'm curious if anyone could guess what that is. I thought I should probably drop a hint. That's going to be a more extensive video, I'm hoping, to really get in deep and gritty on that one, because there is some interesting stuff I found out about that book series. That is not a Eastern book series like manga, light novel, whatnot. This is a Western scholastic book fair. It was in school libraries. So look forward to that. All right, now the video is over.